Speaking of that, is there a team that you really don't want to see on HBO's Hard Knocks more than the Jets? I love Hard Knocks. I don't want to see the Jets. And here's why. Because I like Hard Knocks and I like every team. I don't like the Cowboys at all. Sorry, Dan Rod, but I don't.
That's fine.
But after watching them on Hard Knocks, I'm like, oh, I kind of like that guy. Oh, I kind of like those guys. I'm kind of rooting for these guys. I hate the Jets with a passion, and there's not a team that I could am looking forward to least than those New York Jets being on this season of Hard Knocks. Maybe I'll change my mind. No, I won't. I hate the Jets. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Why do you hate the Jets so much? If anything, I'm the one that hates the Jets the most. Why do you hate the Jets so much?
Yeah, my ex-wife was a Jets fan. That's
There we go.
probably the main reason.
Aye.
Right. That one.
That one.
That was her.
Right. Got it. Understood.
No,
It
Okay,
wasn't
so
like
it's
a
personal
like a deep 1998 loss to the Jets that's still resonating with you.
no, I just never liked them. There's the teams that I hate the most, and no offense, but it's the Cowboys, the Jets, and the Patriots. It's yeah, and two of those you really hate AC, or you should. So
So really, what you're saying is you hate you hate dynasties, you hate
yeah,
America's teams, and then you hate Joe Namath.
yeah. Well, actually, Joe Namath is probably the only good part, and it's only because he used to wear fur coats, pantyhose, and get drunk. So
Do you hate apple pie? Like, what's your deal, man? Do you hate hot dogs
yeah,
and shit?
I'm not a fan of apple pie.
I knew it, Schrader.
Do you get upset when Team USA wins gold medals at the Olympics too?
No, not at all.
Just the
No,
women's, soccer team, right? You just
Yep.
hate them. Yep. Well, speaking of Hard Knocks, is anybody is there any is there a trailer out for the Jets Hard Knocks? Do we know if has anything been?
I have not seen one yet.
Let's check it out while we're on here. So,
There probably is.
what was your favorite Hard Knocks? You remember?
No. Tampa Bay, the year they did Tampa was good. Actually, I like them all. There's not one that I'll watch it and be like, I'm not rooting for that. I mean, when they did the uh, Los Angeles teams, they did both of them that same year. That was, I mean, they're all good, which is why I don't want to see the Jets on there. I don't want to like them. I don't want to
Full disclosure, I
don't
don't really
root.
watch Hard Knocks at all. I don't think I've ever really sat down and watched a full season
Really?
of Hard Knocks. So, like, I am aware of what Hard Knocks is, and I know the Dallas Cowboys, I think, have been the most featured team on Hard Knocks. I also
I
know
believe
Hard
they have.
Knocks now has like specific rules. I don't know if you can bring those up, but like there's certain rules that Hard Knocks has in place now, so only certain teams can qualify for Hard Knocks.
Right.
I think this year there's only 4 eligible teams, including the Jets, and I think obviously for the NFL's purposes, it's a soap opera, and the best soap opera probably is in New York.
They have to separate.
Well, that part's true.
Yeah, they got to set parameters. To be eligible for a Hard Knocks show, a team must meet one of the following criteria: have a first-year head coach in place, have missed the playoffs in the past 2 seasons, have not appeared on Hard Knocks in the past 10 years. So that's what
Well, there you go.
that's what we have to.
I'd like to see the Jags on. I mean, that's me personally, but
That means you haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. That means you got a brand new coach.
that's true.
Well, you could have been. I think the Jags were in the running because of Doug Peterson, right?
The year, last year.
I believe the team that's being featured has full say as to what gets aired and what doesn't. I think they have full final cut. So it's not the people from Hard Knocks that decide what goes on there. I don't know who would get to approve anything. And does Aaron Rodgers get to approve any footage with him in it? He probably worked that into his contract somehow. He gave back $35 million, but said, "I want final editing on all Hard Knocks footage."
Right. I mean, that would make sense. A guy like him, however, for some reason I feel like those parameters are set beforehand. They're like, hey, whatever we use. Just sign on the dotted line. We can't be having films shown to you for your approval. We don't have time for that since it's like a weekly show. And it's always blown my mind how they just make it, they edit it, and they they get it over to the narrator. What's his name?
Levi Schreiber.
Liam Schreiber.
Leave. Here's another question that I'll credit Dan Patrick for this because I've heard him talking on his podcast, the Dan Patrick Show. Lee Schreiber, part of obviously the Screen Actors Guild, they're on strike. Is he allowed to narrate Hard Knocks?
Good one.
I don't think he's ever got an answer to this.
That's a good one. Well, here we see. Let's read a little bit here on MSN.com. We're talking about Hard Knocks here in Robert Saleh. The Jets will once again experience Hard Knocks in life in 2023. Once again, but this time their fans will hope they'll be treated instead of tricked. It's not the first time, that the Florham Park, New Jersey, for the NFL film cameras. They were just last there for Hard Knocks in 2010, and they saw Rex Ryan's Jets reach the AFC Championship game. So it might be a good omen that they're there. And then though considered a burden and intrusive by most teams, New York drew the short straw, and for good reason, as one of 4 teams: Bears, Commanders, Saints. That would have been a good one. I wouldn't have mind seeing Derek Carr there, kind of revamping the Saints.
Right.
And the Jets boast a roster that's made for reality television, especially after the addition of future Hall of Fame quarterback, master of darkness, Aaron Rodgers. Add in some of the league's top young talent from the 2022 Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. It's no wonder the expectations are so high. So, yes, let's check and see when it premieres. The first date is going to be August 8th, next Tuesday, time 10 p.m., channel HBO, or you can stream it on Max. Is this the first time you'll see it, Dan Ron? You interested at all to see what Aaron Rodgers has to?
I don't know if I'll tune in. Maybe I'll do a flyby on it, but no, because I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be a big part of Hard Knocks. Dave, as someone that watches Hard Knocks, obviously often or frequently, do they usually feature the star player that much? From the episodes I've watched, Hard Knocks is more about you're going to get that potential couple guys that are on the bubble, the one guy that gets cut, that one guy that makes the team, and it's that heartwarming story. To me, the more interesting part of Hard Knocks is going to be Zach Wilson, and how does he take to this new role of being the guy that took no blame for his responsibility in the loss from 2022,
right,
to now being the backup to Aaron Rodgers and maybe having a chance to sort of sit behind a guy, learn a bit, and maybe he can be the heir apparent in a couple of years, or learn and maybe catch on with another team, a la Sam Darnold a couple times.
You're 100% correct. They do the focus of the show, and the interesting part of the show is being able to see those guys on the bubble, the guys trying to make a team, and then one of my favorite episodes every year is when they got to cut the guys. That guy's not going to make it. He dropped that ball in that game or whatever. You're right. They will still have. They'll touch on it, obviously, because he's such a big name and he's there. They'll have some, but the focus, you're right, won't be on Aaron Rodgers. It will be on the backups. It will be on some of the guys trying to make the team. So that part's correct.
Always. And how cruel is that your job is being filmed and you're getting fired from your job and they're filming? Imagine any other walk of life where they're just filming you around your job. And you go into the boss's office and like, nope, we're gonna have to let you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give
you my lowest moment caught on film. Here we go.
Part of the reason I like it.
Did you watch they did the last 2 years in season Hard Knocks as well? Did you watch either of those?
The actual in-season ones, I actually like a little better in some ways. I mean, I already know the outcome of what happens. I already know, but it's kind of interesting. It's like watching a full game mic'd up, where you get to actually hear, all right, what's going on in the huddle, what's going on the sidelines and things like that. That part I actually do. I actually like that in some ways better than the preseason one.
I'm just going to go a little off topic here. Do you ever watch a NFL Classics game of your favorite team, and your team's going to win the game, but you're watching the first half and they're making mistakes, and you get upset all over again at the mistakes they made, even 1,000%. Though you know what's going to happen?
I have watched the Jaguars Chargers game about 8 times just in the past few weeks, and I'll go back and watch the full game. Yes, quite a bit.
It hurts. It hurts.
No, that one didn't hurt at all. I love that one. The Jaguars, when they came back 4 touchdowns down, and and ended up winning the game. Now the Chiefs game, I don't watch. I don't watch the ones that hurt. I watch the ones that I know we're gonna come back, and I get that same feeling, and I jump around in my kitchen the same as I did the first time.
You just turn the TV off with Blake Bortles 2 minutes to go against the Patriots in 2017.
That I don't rewatch. I don't rewatch that one because of that.
I think the one he watches the most is the win at Heinz Field in 2018 for the playoff.
That one
the week before. Dave, I think I'd be upset because you always hear about you don't want Tom Brady to have the ball with 2 minutes left. You don't want Patrick Mahomes to have the ball with 2 minutes left. You don't want Aaron Rodgers to have the ball. No one on that broadcast said anything about Blake Bortles having the ball with any amount of time left.
Nobody was worried about that whatsoever.